January 9th, 2022, 3:47 a.m. Pyongyang time. North Korea's entire internet simply vanishes. Government websites blink offline without warning. Air Koryo's booking portal, gone. State propaganda hub Nanara, unreachable. Korean Central News Agency. Silent global intelligence agencies scramble. Was this U.S. Cyber Command? South Korean cyber warriors? A coordinated strike requiring millions in funding and elite hacker teams. The truth? One American hacker in Miami, pajama pants, t-shirt, laptop, a grudge. His codename, P4X, pronounced Pax. This is the story of how a lone vigilante declared war on a nuclear-armed dictatorship. And won, but it begins a year earlier. Late one night in 2021, P4X, a cybersecurity researcher, receives a message from a colleague. Check out this new hacking tool. Attached is a file. P4X is paranoid by profession. He opens it in a virtual machine, a digital sandbox. The file appears legitimate. He moves on with his evening. The next day, his blood runs cold. Google's threat analysis group publishes an emergency alert. North Korean government-backed actors target security researchers. P4X analyzes the file again. Hidden beneath layers of obfuscation, a backdoor. North Korea's Lazarus Group had tried to compromise him. Only his caution saved him. P4X discovers he's one of dozens targeted. North Korea is systematically hunting Western researchers to steal their zero-day vulnerabilities, undiscovered software flaws worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. He does what he's supposed to do, reports it to the FBI. An agent takes his statement, asks questions, promises to investigate, then silence, weeks, months, no follow-up, no protection, no retaliation against North Korea. There's really nobody on our side, he realizes bitterly. A hostile foreign government attacked an American citizen on American soil, and his own government shrugged. That's when something inside him shifts. A seed of resentment grows, fed by sleepless nights and unanswered questions. If the authorities won't do anything, why shouldn't he? By late 2021, his mind is made up. He's going to strike back, alone. First, he needs intelligence. Night after night, P4X studies North Korea's cyberspace. What he discovers shocks him. While the US has hundreds of millions of IP addresses, North Korea has dozens. Their internet infrastructure is tiny, held together with digital duct tape. The security? A joke. They're running decades-old software riddled with publicly known vulnerabilities, bugs that were discovered, publicized, and fixed years ago everywhere else in the world. One bug catches his attention, a flaw in an old web server configuration. Send a malformed request, and the entire system crashes. No sophisticated hacking required. It's pretty interesting. How easy it was to actually have some effect, he'll later. P4X writes custom scripts, programs, designed to find North Korean servers and hit them with precisely tailored exploits until they crash. Surgical, targeted, digital guerrilla warfare, but there's risk. What he's planning is wildly illegal under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. Hacking is hacking, regardless of target. And if North Korea identifies him, they've assassinated people on foreign soil before, so he adopts his pseudonym, P4X, or Pax, a bitter joke about enforcing peace through punishment. He routes attacks through rented cloud servers, multiple layers of obfuscation. He becomes a ghost. January 2022, everything is ready. P4X sits at his computer in comfortable clothes, t-shirt, pajama pants, slippers. Just another night. Except tonight is different. His fingers move across the keyboard. Commands execute. The attack begins. To distract himself from tension, he cues up an alien movie. Grabs spicy corn chips. But every few minutes, he checks his monitors. And slowly, the news gets better. Air Koryo's website times out. Nanara returns an error. Korean Central News Agency. Korea Maritime Administration. Offline, one by one, like lights being switched off, North Korea's websites disappear. He checks Pingdom, an independent monitoring service. Charts show a sea of red. Outages everywhere. Every single North Korean website simultaneously offline. It's real. It's working. And nobody knows it's him. Hour after hour, the onslaught continues. His scripts work perfectly, relentlessly bombarding vulnerable servers. When administrators bring something back online, the scripts detect it and knock it down again. By the time P4X stops for the night, practically every website in North Korea is down. An entire nation's online presence has been felled by a lone hacker at a keyboard. The next morning, news spreads through intelligence circles. An entire country went offline. Speculation runs rampant. US Cyber Command. South Korean intelligence? Anonymous hacktivist group? The timing seems significant, just days after North Korea's missile tests. Many conclude this must be a state-sponsored punitive strike. Inside North Korea, the regime offers no public admission. State media continues as if nothing happened. But for the vast majority of North Koreans, life genuinely continues as usual, because they never had internet access anyway. North Korea operates two separate networks: the global internet, accessible to less than 1% of the population, and Kwangmyong, a domestic intranet completely isolated from the outside world. P4X hit the regime's outward-facing propaganda machine, sites for international audiences, email servers for government officials. The blackout was invisible to ordinary citizens, but for the regime's leadership, an embarrassment. Someone had the ability to cut them off at will, and they had no idea who or how to stop them. For days, nearly all North Korean websites remain unreachable. When sites briefly flicker online, they crash again within hours, yet no government claims responsibility. No hacktivist group issues a manifesto. The mystery deepens. Analysts gravely discuss which nation-state might be responsible, the resources required, the political motivations. P4X follows this with barely contained amusement. The world's experts are so convinced only a nation-state could pull this off, they can't conceive of the alternative. They're looking for armies when they should be looking for one angry guy with a laptop. Anonymity is his shield. As long as the regime doesn't know who's hitting them, they can't hit back. As long as law enforcement doesn't know, they can't prosecute. But questions nag. How long can one man keep this up? What if they trace the attacks? What's the price for humiliating a nuclear-armed regime? Flushed with success, P4X decides to go bigger. He sets up a covert website on the dark web, the Funk Project, Fo U North Korea. This is a project to keep North Korea honest, the site declares. He's recruiting, looking for other activists who want to hold the regime accountable. One hacker took down their internet. A handful could potentially steal data, expose secrets, dig deeper. Not everyone applauds. Some researchers worry P4X might interfere with legitimate intelligence operations. Others point out obvious legal problems. Is P4X scared? My conscience is clear, he says confidently. North Korea commits outrageous cyber attacks daily with complete impunity. The international community issues statements, passes resolutions, and nothing changes. To him, exposing Kim's weakness is worth the risk. Someone has to do something. And if not me, then who? When asked his ultimate goal, P4X chuckles, regime change. No, I'm just kidding. But he will keep hammering until the regime understands their actions have consequences. P4X's story reveals uncomfortable truths about our world. First, cyber power is more distributed than we thought. North Korea can breach major corporations, but can't protect their own websites from one guy with a laptop. Second, traditional warfare favors those with resources. But cyber warfare is fundamentally asymmetric. The barrier to entry is incredibly low. You need knowledge, skills, and internet access. Third, when people feel unprotected by their governments, they'll protect themselves. P4X is the first prominent example. He won't be the last. As of now, P4X's war continues. North Korea's websites still go down regularly. Law enforcement hasn't publicly acknowledged the situation. No charges filed. The regime hasn't admitted the attacks, and P4X, still anonymous, still free, still convinced he's doing the right thing. What's the lesson? Maybe it's that in the digital age, power is more fluid than we think. Traditional hierarchies, don't apply in cyberspace. Or maybe it's simply this: never underestimate what one determined person with the right skills can accomplish. P4X sat alone in his home office, wearing pajamas, eating corn chips, and took down a country's internet. He proved David can beat Goliath, that individuals aren't helpless, that nation-states aren't invincible. Whether you think he's a hero or criminal, one thing is undeniable: he made North Korea pay. And he did it all by himself. Somewhere right now, P4X might be sitting at his computer, checking his scripts, preparing for the next strike. The hunter is still hunting. The war continues, and the Hermit Kingdom remains vulnerable to the hacker they can't see, can't catch, and can't stop. This was the story of P4X, the lone vigilante who took on North Korea and won, who proved that individuals aren't powerless in the digital age, who showed that justice, even when governments won't provide it, can still be served. Stay vigilant. Stay protected, because in cyberspace, anyone can be a target. Thanks for watching.